This is Bx9 to Riverdale and 262 Street. Next stop, DeVoe Avenue and Lebanon Street. This stop is DeVoe Avenue and Lebanon Street. Next stop, East 180th Street and Boston Road. Transfer available to Bx36 Limited. This stop is East 180th Street and Boston Road. Next stop, East 180th Street and Daly Avenue. This stop is East 180th Street and Daly Avenue. Next stop, East 180th Street and Crotona Parkway. Transfer available to Bx36 Limited and the Bx19 on Southern Boulevard. This stop is East 180th Street and Crotona Parkway. Next stop, Southern Boulevard and Bronx Park East. Transfer available to Bx19. This stop is Southern Boulevard and Bronx Park East. Next stop, Southern Boulevard and East 183rd Street. This stop is Southern Boulevard and East 183rd Street. Next stop, Southern Boulevard and East 187th Street. This stop is Southern Boulevard and East 187th Street. Next stop, Southern Boulevard and East 189th Street. Transfer available to Bx12, Bx12 SBS, Bx19 and Bx22. This stop is Southern Boulevard and East 189th Street. Next stop, East Fordham Road and Camberlin Avenue. Transfer available to Bx12, Bx17 and Bx22. This stop is Southern Boulevard and Camberlin Avenue. Next stop, East Fordham Road and Hoffman Street. This stop is East Fordham Road and Hoffman Street. Next stop, East Fordham Road and Bathgate Avenue. This stop is East Fordham Road and Bathgate Avenue. Next stop, East Fordham Road and 3rd Avenue. Transfer available to Bx12, Bx12 SBS, Bx15, Bx22 and the Metro North. This stop is East Fordham Road and 3rd Avenue. Next stop, East Fordham Road and Decatur Avenue. Transfer available to Bx12, Bx12 SBS, Bx22, Bx41 and Bx41 SBS. This stop is East Fordham Road and Decatur Avenue. Next stop, East Kingsbridge Road and East 192nd Street. Transfer available to Bx22, Bx28, Bx34 and Bx38. This stop is East Kingsbridge Road and East 192nd Street. Next stop, East Kingsbridge Road and Grand Concourse. Transfer available to B and D trains. Bx1 Limited, Bx2, Bx22, Bx28, Bx34 and Bx38. This stop is East Kingsbridge Road and Grand Concourse. Next stop, East Kingsbridge Road and Morris Avenue. Transfer available to 4 trains. Bx22, Bx28, Bx32 and Bx38. This stop is East Kingsbridge Road and Morris Avenue. Next stop, West Kingsbridge Road and University Avenue. Transfer available to Bx3 and Bx32. This stop is West Kingsbridge Road and University Avenue. Next stop, West Kingsbridge Road and Sedgwick Avenue. Transfer available to Bx3. This stop is West Kingsbridge Road and Sedgwick Avenue. Next stop, West Kingsbridge Road and Kingsbridge Terrace. This stop is West Kingsbridge Road and Kingsbridge Terrace. Next stop, West Kingsbridge Road and Bailey Avenue. This stop is West Kingsbridge Road and Bailey Avenue. Next stop, West 225th Street and Broadway. Transfer available to Bx7, Bx20 and the 1 train. This stop is West 225th Street and Broadway. Next stop, Broadway and West 228th Street. Transfer available to Bx7, Bx20. This stop is Broadway and West 228th Street. Next stop, Broadway and Exterior Street. Transfer available to Bx7, Bx20, Bxm1, Bxm2 and Bxm18. This stop is Broadway and West 228th Street. Next stop, Broadway and West 231st Street. Transfer available to the 1 train. Bx1 Limited, Bx7, Bx10, Bx20. This stop is Broadway and West 231st Street. Next stop, Broadway and West 234th Street. This stop is Broadway and West 234th Street. Next stop, Broadway and Tim Hendrick Place. This stop is Broadway and Tim Hendrick Place. Next stop, Broadway and West 238th Street. Transfer available to the 1 train and Bx3. This stop is Broadway and West 238th Street. Next stop, Broadway and Van Cortlandt Park South. This stop is Broadway and Van Cortlandt Park South. Next stop, Broadway and 242nd Street. Transfer available to 1 train to Manhattan, W1, 2, 3 and the Bx9. This stop is Broadway and 242nd Street. Next stop, Broadway and 246th Street. This stop is Broadway and 246th Street. Next stop, Broadway and 251st Street. This stop is Broadway and 251st Street. Next stop, Broadway and Lakeview Place. This stop is Broadway and Lakeview Place. Next stop, Broadway and 254th Street. This stop is Broadway and 254th Street. Next stop, Broadway and Mosholu Avenue. This stop is Broadway and Mosholu Avenue. Next stop, Broadway and 260th Street. This stop is Broadway and 260th Street. Next stop, Broadway and 262nd Street. This stop is Broadway and 262nd Street.